Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. Anita Lesnicki, known as Needy, is an alleged violent criminal currently incarcerated in a correctional facility. Needy is known for her supposed crimes and receives hundreds of letters every day from people cursing her to hell or begging her to accept Jesus Christ into her heart. Innocent or not, the scars on her body tell a different story. After kicking a doctor in the chest in the cafeteria, Needy is sent to solitary confinement. She hasn't always been this way. Believe it or not, there was a time when she was considered normal. Cloistered in darkness, Needy reflects on the past few months. She comes from Devil's Kettle, Minnesota. The town is named after a local waterfall. What happens is that no one knows where the water goes. Once, a group of scientists threw a bucket of red balls into the hole where the water drains underground, but nothing ever came back. In this small town where almost nothing interesting happens, that is where it all took place. Needy lives a relatively normal teenage life. Although she is considered the local nerd, she has a boyfriend named Chip and is best friends with the prettiest girl in school, Jennifer Check. Jennifer and Needy were playmates when they were little and have been inseparable ever since. After a school event, Jennifer invites Needy to watch an indie rock band called Low Shoulder performing at the local bar, Melody Lane. Later that night, Needy spends some time with Chip in her room while picking out an outfit for the rock show. Chip feels strange about their friendship and accuses her of doing anything Jennifer tells her to. She defends herself, but deep down, she knows that isn't entirely true. She tries to change the subject and kisses her boyfriend on the bed, but they are interrupted when Jennifer arrives. Jennifer teases Chip for being jealous since he wasn't invited while she and Needy get in her car. They arrive at Melody Lane, which is more of a bar than a club. The bar is full that night and they see some schoolmates, exchange student Ahmet and Craig, from the football team, who Jennifer rejects. At the bar, they are approached by Roman, a trainee officer, a guy Jennifer has a casual relationship with, but she also rejects him. Jennifer catches Needy's attention towards the band preparing on stage. She drags her nerdy best friend and introduces her to the lead singer, Nikolai Wolf. Jennifer flirts with Nikolai and offers to buy a drink, which he happily accepts. While Jennifer goes to get some drinks, Needy stays behind and overhears the conversation between Nikolai and their bassist, Dirk. Nikolai thinks Jennifer is the one, telling his friend that she's definitely a virgin, a girl who likes to show off but never really gives in. Needy confronts Nikolai and tells him he's a disgusting pervert. She approaches Jennifer and says that Nikolai only wants her because he thinks she's a virgin. Jennifer thinks this is crazy because she is no longer a virgin thanks to Roman. At that moment, the band starts to play and they watch as they open with their first song. Jennifer is excited and feels pumped over the lead singer despite the comments while holding Needy's hand. Needy feels happy seeing her friend happy, but she releases her hand, feeling insecure and thinking she will never be like her pretty and popular best friend. Needy sees a fire starting near the stage. The curtains ignite instantly and spread across the ceiling, bringing down some decorations. The band stops playing as the entire bar quickly catches fire. A stampede occurs as Needy and Jennifer remain in the room, hearing the snap of bones. A bunch of wood falls, crushing some of their schoolmates as both watch in horror. Needy snaps out of her shock and drags Jennifer to the bathroom. They escape through a window and reach the parking lot. Needy comforts Jennifer, who appears shocked and dazed. Nikolai appears out of nowhere and hands Jennifer a suspicious drink. He insists that the girls get into his van, but Needy declines. Jennifer, on the other hand, accepts the invitation and goes with Nikolai. Needy calls out to her best friend, but Jennifer refuses to listen. As she watches Jennifer get into the van, Needy knows something bad is about to happen. Meanwhile, Melody Lane is burned to the ground. Needy gets home and calls Chip, telling him what happened. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. She keeps Chip on the line as she goes downstairs to investigate, but when she opens the door, there's no one there. Needy hangs up the phone and then notices a shadow in the hallway. She slowly walks to the door and opens it, but the closet is also empty. She goes to the kitchen to turn off the leaking faucet and turns around to face Jennifer, all bruised and bloodied in her clothes. She tries to understand what happened to her, but her best friend can only reply in animalistic grunts. Jennifer goes to the fridge and starts eating their food like a wild animal. Needy tries to stop her, but suddenly she starts retching and vomits a black, gooey liquid on the floor. Needy checks Jennifer's wrist and feels almost no pulse. Needy runs to the hallway to call for help, but Jennifer stops her and pins her against the wall. She asks Needy if she's scared, to which Needy nods and leans in to breathe on her neck. Jennifer drops her to the floor and escapes through the front door. Needy is mortified by what happened. The next morning at school, Needy is shocked to see Jennifer alive and well. Jennifer still looked the same, but she acted as if nothing had happened the night before, being indifferent. Needy knows that what happened yesterday was real because she spent the whole night scrubbing the vomit off the floor. Jennifer dismisses her concerns and insists that she's just being overly dramatic. Just then, their teacher with the prosthetic hand, Mr. Wroblewski, comes in to announce the grim news. After class, Needy meets Chip in the hallway and tells him about what happened with Jennifer last night. Colin Gray, the local goth at school, approaches her to check on her after yesterday's fire. Chip teases his girlfriend, but Needy reassures him that he's got nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, Jennifer approaches Jonas Kozel, one of Craig's best friends, who's mourning in the middle of their football field. Jennifer convinces him to go with her to the woods because Craig would have wanted the two of them together. As they make out in the woods, animals start to surround them. Jonas feels weirded out, but Jennifer distracts him by taking her shirt off. She rips his jersey off and starts unzipping his pants. She then whispers to him that he's going to see his best friend real soon. She pushes him against a tree, and the last thing Jonas sees is Jennifer's eyes turning black and her open mouth revealing her razor-sharp teeth, ready to cut into his flesh. Jonas's screams reach the school's parking lot and alert their teacher, Mr. Wroblewski. Feeling suspicious, he goes into the woods and finds Jonas's disemboweled dead body. Back at home, Needy prepares a sandwich for her mom as she listens to the radio. Since the fire, Nikolai's band, Low Shoulder, has been getting tons of positive publicity. As they talk over their meal, Jonas is taken out of the woods through a body bag by the police while the killer, Jennifer, takes a bath at a nearby lake, washing away all the evidence of her bloody feast. Later that night, Jennifer is on the phone with Needy telling her about her perfect day. After killing Jonas, she feels transformed, feeling no pain, even burning her own tongue. Needy gets another call, and it's her boyfriend, Chip. Needy hangs up on Jennifer and meets with Chip at McCullum Park. He tells her that the police are over at Kozel's house and that Jonas was found dead in the woods. Needy says that with the fire and the killing, it can't be a coincidence. Chip is horrified but reassures her that things will get better. A month after the fire and the killing of Jonas Kozel, the town found its way to slowly heal. The national news picked up the tragedies of Devil's Kettle and milked it as much as they could. Low Shoulder has gotten even bigger, capitalizing on their part of the fire, and has made their song the unofficial theme song of unity and healing for the town. Soon enough, Mr. Wroblewski announces that Low Shoulder is holding a charity benefit for the victims of the fire. Needy calls them out for being crass but is attacked by her classmates. After class is dismissed, Needy walks with Jennifer, pointing out that she looks pale and haggard. Jennifer says that it's probably wearing off. Before Needy could ask further, their conversation is interrupted by Colin, who asks Jennifer out on a date. Jennifer turns him down initially, but Needy insists that he's a cool guy. Suddenly, Jennifer gets an idea. She calls him back and tells him to meet at her house and watch a movie. Chip joins them in the hallway and feels weird that Colin is talking to his girlfriend again, but Needy tells him that he was only asking Jennifer out on a date. Later that night, Needy hangs out with Chip in his bedroom. They start making out and undressing each other for a romantic evening. On the other side of town, Colin drives up to an empty neighborhood. He stops at the address that Jennifer gave him and enters the unfinished house through the back. He explores the house, looking for Jennifer, and finally finds her in a room filled with candles. She takes off her jacket and they start making out. The sight of rats stops Colin, but she lures him back and takes off his pants. Suddenly, Jennifer's eyes change color as she approaches a terrified Colin. She breaks his bones, pins him down on the floor, and starts to devour his soul. Meanwhile, Chip and Needy are doing things when she sees blood leaking from the ceiling and finds Jonas dead in the room along with a demonic Jennifer. She gasps in horror until Chip stops, concerned for his girlfriend. Back at the house, Colin is dead with his intestines out as Jennifer eats the rest of his insides. Needy runs out of Chip's house and drives home crying. She almost runs over Jennifer on the highway but swerves to the right just in time. When she stops, she looks around for Jennifer, but she's nowhere to be found. Something jumps on her windshield, cracking the glass, and it's her best friend. Needy screams as Jennifer gets off her car and she drives the other way home. Needy reaches her house and screams for her mom. Needy thinks about Jennifer and blames herself for letting her into the van. She gets up and goes into her bedroom and screams when she finds Jennifer lying next to her. Jennifer calms her down and begins kissing her. Feeling confused, Needy kisses her back, and the two make out briefly on her bed. Needy stops and freaks out, feeling more complicated than ever. She threatens to call the police, but Jennifer reminds her that she has the cops in her back pocket. Jennifer then tells her about what really happened to her that night of the fire. After she got into the truck, the guys drove her to the falls. She saw all the occult and supernatural books in their van and thinking that they're sexual offenders, she insists that she's a virgin, so they should let her go and get someone else who's more experienced. Unbeknownst to her, this is exactly what the guys need. The guys carried her near the falls and tied her up as they prepared for the ritual. Dirk handed Nikolai a piece of paper and a knife. They then started the ritual. It turned out they were sacrificing a virgin to the devil so that the devil in turn could grant them fame and success as a band. Jennifer begs for her life, but the guys' minds are set. Nikolai held up the knife and stabbed her multiple times before tossing the knife into the waterfall hole. Back in Needy's room, Jennifer finishes telling the story. She tells Needy that the stabs should have killed her, but they didn't. Jennifer made her way back to Needy, feeling hungry for blood, but she didn't have it in her to kill her friend. On her way home, Jennifer approaches Ahmet, who's just leaving the scene of the fire, and makes him her first victim. Jennifer tells a shocked Needy that when she's eaten in full, she's unkillable. She can now withstand virtually any injury without pain and heal instantly. Needy brings up their encounter in her car, but Jennifer quickly dismisses it. She then demands Jennifer to leave and she does so by jumping through Needy's second-floor bedroom window. Needy attends Colin's burial the next morning. She thinks a little and knows that she has to stop Jennifer by any means necessary, so she soon begins researching demons and the occult as well as ways to prevent her friend from killing more boys. Chip meets her at school and brings up the upcoming dance. She tells him that they shouldn't go to the dance at all, but he's really more concerned about behavior. They go to a quieter place and Needy finally tells Chip the truth about Jennifer. It turns out that Nikolai made a mistake when they sacrificed Jennifer because she wasn't a complete virgin anymore since junior high. According to Needy's research, if the human sacrifice is impure, the result may still be attained, but the demon will remain in the host's body who will continue to feed its thirst for blood. Chip refuses to believe her, which prompts Needy to break up with him. As the whole school prepares for the dance, Needy worries about Jennifer's next victim. In Chip's house, his mother gives him a pepper spray, which he accepts hesitantly. Meanwhile, Jennifer is deteriorating, her hair is falling out, and her skin is filled with acne. She needs to find her next victim soon. Needy arrives at the dance and keeps an eye on Jennifer. Meanwhile, Chip is walking through the park to school when he is stopped by Jennifer. She lures him into the trees, saying she wants to talk about Needy. Then she lies to Chip, saying the reason Needy was so upset about Colin's death was that they had been getting involved frequently. Jennifer begins to flirt with Chip, lying to him that she has always liked him, and then she starts kissing him. They start kissing under the trees until Chip suggests they go somewhere else. Back at school, Needy watches angrily as Low Shoulder starts playing their song. Suddenly, she realizes why Jennifer hasn't shown up all night. She's behind Chip. Needy runs to Chip's house and finds out he left 20 minutes ago. So she rushes to the park, knowing he must have passed by there. Meanwhile, Jennifer leads Chip to an abandoned community pool. They sit at the edge of the pool and start kissing again. But Chip pulls away, saying it feels strange. This irritates Jennifer, who pushes him into the water and starts dragging him and slamming him against the tiled walls. Needy arrives just in time and finds Jennifer biting her boyfriend's neck. She jumps into the pool and tries to drown her former friend. She goes back to Chip, who is still alive but bleeding, and she sprays pepper spray at Jennifer. Jennifer emerges from the water, and she sprays her. Jennifer screams and vomits a black liquid all over them. Jennifer begins to levitate and rises from the pool. The couple does the same. Needy finally confronts Jennifer, telling her she was never a good friend. Jennifer always wants what she desires. Needy accuses her of being insecure and says she is no longer socially relevant. Jennifer screams at her and threatens to devour her soul, but when she advances toward her, Chip grabs a broken pool cleaner and stabs her in the torso. She pulls out the pole, feeling pain but still alive, and steps back from her former friend. Needy then comforts Chip. They apologize to each other and declare their love for one another, but it's too late. Chip is bleeding too quickly and has lost too much blood. He slowly fades and dies while Needy cries by his side. Needy returns home in her torn and destroyed dress. She has no more reasons to live now, but she can still do something right. She's going to stop Jennifer, no matter the cost. She cleans herself up and marches toward Jennifer's house. From Jennifer's bedroom window, Needy can see her, worn out and weak. She breaks in through the window and attacks, but Jennifer dodges her strike. Needy pushes her onto the bed and attempts to strangle her to death, but Jennifer bites her neck. Needy grabs a knife and slices her abdomen. Jennifer begins to levitate from the bed, and they fight in midair. Needy tears off the friendship necklace they share, surprising Jennifer and making her fall back onto the bed. As much as she hated Needy, Jennifer never really thought her friend would be the one to end their friendship. Needy falls back onto the bed and stabs the knife deep into her heart. She watches as Jennifer takes her last breath, absorbing the fact that she just killed her former best friend. Suddenly, the lights turn on and Jennifer's mother enters the room, and in disbelief, she cradles her dead daughter in her arms. In the correctional facility, Needy is still in solitary confinement, and everything is going according to plan. She is no longer the same Needy, because when you're bitten by a demon and survive, you absorb some of the supernatural abilities. She exits her meditation and breaks through the walls of the facility, escaping the premises by tearing through the steel fence with ease. As she walks down the road, she notices a small stream nearby, full of red balls, and picks up the knife that Nikolai used to stab Jennifer. It seems that everything in Devil's Kettle resurfaces. When morning comes, she stops a car and asks for a ride east, toward Madison. She tells the driver that she is following a rock band because it will be their last show that night. Later, the police find all the members of Low Shoulder dead in their hotel room, concluding Needy's revenge.